just wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming along and spending some time working on your business. I know that that's really hard. And I just have to share a little story with you. This morning I left home at about midday. My two kids, who are 3.5 and 1.5, were still in their jammies. And as I was running out the door, I thought, I forgot to brush my teeth. And so I raced back in, put the panthen on my toothbrush and was about to put it in my mouth. And here I am. And I feel fabulous. So it just goes to show that no matter what's happening at home or what we almost put in our mouths, we're still alive. I hope you're not being crude. Rude connotation alert. That we can still turn up and be fabulous and hide under the table because we're laughing too hard and going red in the face. Anyway, so I just, my purpose today is to share with you all some tips about sales. And sales isn't magic and it's not scary. It's actually just being you. So if you are brave enough to be a mum, and if you're brave enough to start your own business and do all of those things, then I know you have an inner sales champion. Dun, dun, dun. See, sales is not a dirty word. So, I feel like that's gone really loud. So at the end, we need it. Oh, we need it louder? Yeah. Sorry. It was just me. So what I want to do today is just ask a couple of questions. Who wants more sales, more customers in their business? Oh, everyone! Hooray! Awesome! I'm in the right room. Okay, now, next question. Who jumps out of bed in the morning and goes, fantastic, I'm going to do sales today? Okay, awesome, about 5 people. That's about right. So, here we have a bit of an imbalance, don't we? There's a bit of a problem, a bit of an impasse. Here we have a situation where you want more customers, but you're petrified about picking up the phone or going to talk to people or asking people. You don't want to come over as pushy and disgusting. Okay, so today, in the next 30 minutes, I'm going to help you resolve that impasse. So at the end of our little session today, I want you, oh wow, that's lovely. Oh, is it just on that one? Okay. I'll just ignore it. Good. Okay. I want you to feel better about sales and selling. So I know there's lots of you who get really anxious about it. So that's my first goal. My second goal for today is to think about what you do and what you don't do and how you can be a bit more explicit about that, what actions you really need to take to get your sales rocking. And lastly, I really want you to focus on the results that you want. So for those people who already have enough customers, fantastic, good on you. How do you get better customer relationships? How do you make it easier? How do you get more referrals? How do you get people saying yes? It's my favourite word. I always tell my kids when they say no, I go, no, 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 no. What's mummy's favourite word? Yes. With a bit more gusto. Okay. Now, before we start on your customers, I just have to tell you, selling is all about you. And what that means is, I don't care whether you're introverted, extroverted, I don't care whether you have 3 heads, 6 feet tall, 2 feet tall. The best person to sell in your business is you. You as you are. You have a passion and desire. You built your business for a reason. Or you're about to start a business for a reason, or you're about to relaunch it. Whatever you're doing, your passion and generosity and just being you is enough. So So that's the first lesson I want you to go away with today. Be yourself. And it's a bit like being a mum. Your kids know when you're putting it on, don't they? They know when you don't mean it. I'm going to send you to your room for 3 months. But they know, they let them go and keep going. So be honest with yourself and be honest with your clients. The next thing about you is, I really want you to get over yourself. I know. Thank you. And what I mean by that is, there's all these things going on in your head about what people might think, etc., etc. Does anyone remember having a first baby and when they're really, really tiny, and you're thinking, I should be breastfeeding, I should be doing this, should. How many shoulds were there? Like 200,305,000? And all of this stuff and books that you've read and, but then finally, it's not about any of those things. It's about that baby. It's about being in the now. And that's what selling is too. You can't sell to people that aren't there. I know that sounds really weird, but... And I'm lucky enough to have 2 kids. And with the second one, you so couldn't give a rat's, could you? Yeah, he's got a snotty nose. Yeah, he fell over. So we don't learn everything about motherhood from 1 baby or 2 babies or 3 babies or 10, but we do learn that we know enough. We do learn that we can solve the problems that we need to solve. We learn that we're enough. And that's my lesson to you. You are enough for your customers. You know enough. You stop thinking you've got to prepare more and read the final chapter in whatever book you're reading. Get out there and talk to people. Talk to your customers, or people that you want to be your customers or distributors or whoever they are. Okay. Who knows this feeling? Who thinks about selling and who looks at that guy? Isn't he gorgeous? I love the gold chains. So how does this guy sell? Push. Sleaze. Disgusting. I know what you want. He doesn't listen, does he? He just tells you. So, is there, or are there salespeople out there like this? Yes, because we've all met them, right? And we all want to go and have a shower afterwards because they're disgusting. Is this good selling? No, it's shit. And it's shit selling. I know it's a new term. Hashtag shit selling. And this doesn't work. If you look at all the problems that companies are having that are trying to use these old sales styles, they don't work. And they don't work because people are over it. People are over being shoved down and not listened to and yada, yada, yada. Okay, so if you think about this, when you think about selling, I want you to delete him out of your head, okay? He's gone. Gone. Okay. So selling isn't selling. It's that easy. It's helping people buy. And what that means is it completely changes our mindset. So suddenly, if you're about to help someone buy, where does that start? It doesn't start with telling, does it? Where does it start? Anyone? Bueller? Listening! I hear echoing around the room. Beautiful. That's exactly where it starts. And I'm going to be a bit sexist here, but I think women are generally speaking, sorry guys, better listeners.
Sorry, what did you say?
I pay you for that. Okay, so if you're going to help people buy, you've got to know how they buy, don't you? So you've got to go and talk to them. You've got to ask them about what they want, what they don't want, why they want those things. You've got to get in there and dig and investigate. Helping people buy, and the word help I love, but it's an active form of helping. It doesn't mean that you let them run the race. As Susan said before, you know, you eyeball them, you let them know who's boss. You're in charge of the sale. It's your company. But I'm serious. My kids are scared of me when I do that. I say to my girl's 3.5, Iris, look at mummy in the eyes. Anyway, but you can do the same thing with customers. And it doesn't mean that they, because you're helping them, that they suddenly can run all over the top of you. You have value, and your product has value, and your service has value. Okay, so we've got our mindset right. We're not selling, we're not greasy and disgusting with lots of gold chains, and though the gold chains are quite nice. But we don't do the cigar thing, unless we're celebrating. Anyway, we're helping people buy. So does that help with our mindset? Yes. Hooray! Okay. When I'm teaching people how to sell, I often use kid analogies. So I thought when I was preparing for today, fantastic, I can just talk about kids' stories. Okay, so anyone here has a 3-year-old or has had a 3-year-old? Okay, do you say to them, what would you like to wear today? No, that's fraud, isn't it? Well, selling's exactly the same. You say to the 3-year-old, today it's freezing outside. You set a scene, don't you? Because with your 3-year-old, or younger or older, you just want them to do what you want them to do. But how do you do that? You do that by making them think evil. Making them think that what you want them to do is the right thing. So you're going, you set a scene, you're going to school today or daycare and it's freezing outside, you want to run outside with your friends. Yes, Mum. So you get them starting to say yes, yes, Mum. Great. So we're going to need to put tracksuit pants on. No, Mum. No, it's cold outside. No, I want to wear this summer outfit. I want to look like, what's her name? Isn't that terrible? Elsa. Let it go. So we all know that we can't get people 3 or 30 or at 60 or at 90 to do what we want them to do. People only ever do what they want to do. So how you do that with your business and in selling is by giving them a roadmap. You tell them, you give them a setting. Here's where you're at. So I'm going to use my business as an example. I focus on teaching sales to people who hate selling. And so when I say that, I call it your lean-in factor. The people who are interested go, oh my God, there's no need to talk to you. So that's the beginning of my roadmap. And then I say to them, okay, well, you come and visit me, or you see me speak. I've got a website, you can download a free ebook, and I step them through the process. And it's like when you're dressing a child. It is. We've got to put our shoes on, but before we put our shoes on, we've got to put our socks on. Blah, 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 blah. The more you tell them and communicate with them, even though it sounds like the most obvious thing, the better it is for them because they understand what's going on. Well, your customers are exactly the same. We make so many assumptions that people know stuff about our business, and they don't. And even if they do, you might have a different way of doing it. I was talking to a lady earlier who's in insurance, and she said to me, how do you get people to listen when they've had such bad experiences in the past? Well, my answer to that is tell them, I know, I'm here to listen to you. There's lots of people who have had bad experiences in the past. Let me tell you one different. I don't want to be that person. And so if you go on the journey with me, I can show you. But you've got to trust me. And people either will or they won't. And that's okay. But you've got to take a customer's walk through your business. Okay, so I've got a bit of an example. So this is back to our disgusting man, our sales loser. This is how he sells. Okay, we start by telling, you really want this car, don't you? This one over here, $450, fantastic. Handling rejections. Oh, it's not big enough. Sure it is. How many kids have you got? It's not reliable, whatever. And then we only negotiate at the end of the sale. So finally, as you're trying to get her off the car yard, he's going, now come on, you really do want it $250. And what's the last and only thing that he negotiates with? Price. Because that's all he has. Because he's bad at selling. And there's an ABC in selling, and I'm going to share my new one with you later. But the old ABC of selling is always be closing. So that's what they're looking for. Close, 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 close. Buy, buy, buy. And it's just wrong. Okay, sales champions, because we're all going to wear our sales underpants on the outside from now on, aren't we? Yes. Okay, so that starts by listening. And then we find fit. And then we actively look for objections. Objections are your friends. Because if people are objecting, it means that they're thinking about buying your product or service. And we always look to be creating value, whether they buy from us or not. We're here to add value. I love this lady. So listening. Listening is where we start. Now I've got my favourite little quiz. There's five things that we use when we're listening. So the obvious thing, come on, help me out here. What do we use when we're listening? Ears. Hey, thank you very much. What else? Eyes. Eyes, why? Body language. I was talking to someone in the foyer earlier, and they said, oh, should it really be face-to-face if I can? I went, absolutely. 87% of communication is non-verbal. 87. And 7% is words. So people say to me, oh, I don't have all my marketing ready, or I don't have. Go out and talk to people. You don't need it. You just need to go and be genuine and real and listen. And if you're listening face-to-face with someone, then you can pick up the cues. You can tell when they're scared, when they're interested, when they're engaged, when they're disengaged, when you lost them. And you can backtrack and get them back on board. Okay, what else? Eyes, we've got. What about this bit in here? Grey matter. The brain. The first thing we've got to do with our brain is turn it off. Get rid of all the crap that's going on in there. What time do I have to pick up the kids today? You know, yada, 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 yada. Is this person watching? Get rid of all of that. Also, your brain filters. So what you're actually listening to, your brain filters based on your experiences and your upbringing and everything that's happened in your life. So what's the last thing we have to use once we've listened and it's gone through the brain and we think we've interpreted it? What's the last thing we've got to use? The mouth. And that's not used to start talking about what you want to talk about. that's used to check. What I've heard you say today is, what I understand from what we've talked about today, pardon me, is, so we listen to the words, we watch what's going on, we interpret through our brain, and then we check in. That's what listening is. It's a very, very engaged process. Now, when you're listening, everybody thinks that well, not everybody, most men, sorry, picking on men a bit, think that they buy logically. They don't. There's various studies by very learned folks that I can point people to. Everybody in the world buys emotionally, and then they wrap it in logic. The best experiment that I do with people is say to them, tell me who you, well, don't tell me, think about who you voted for in the last election, and then why. Oh, because of, the finances, because of border control, because of security, whatever it happened to be. Okay, great. Now tell me about who you didn't vote for. Okay, why? Why didn't you vote for that person? Their eyes were too close together, I didn't trust them, it wasn't real, they said something weird. Suddenly, we get all of this emotion. So people remember to wrap logic around their pro-decision, but not around their contra-decision. So a really good question to ask people when you're questioning them on your product or service is, if you've used a competitor in the past, well, why have you decided to change? Why didn't you go with this one? Because you'll get some much more honest answers. And so if everyone buys emotionally and we're helping people buy, we really need to understand the emotions of our products and services. And the best way to do that is to go and talk to your customers. They will tell you. How did you feel before you used our product or service? How did you feel while you were using it? How did you feel afterwards? Sorry, I'm picking on banks now. Telstra, banks, etc. How many times do they say to you, how was your experience with Telstra? They want to know. They don't necessarily ask in the right way, but they really do want to know. And they want to know because they understand that people buy emotionally. Okay, so we've done our listening. Now the next thing that we do in our positive, beautiful selling is actively look for objections shown that someone is interested in using your product. They want to know more. So if someone comes to you with an objection, please love them. And you need to work through that with them. A really good way to do that, because we all know that people buy emotionally, right? A really good way to do that is you use a tactic called feel, felt, found. So, so the feel component is normalising. Thank you for mentioning, such and such. Other people feel exactly the same way. So you're not a freak. No, you don't say that. But that is what you're saying to them. Because people like to be shared. They don't want to be the first. They don't want to be the first person to come to you with this fear. Feel. Other customers have felt exactly the same as you, and they've decided to buy. Oh, so people have felt the same objection that I feel. Okay, good. And they felt the same way, and then they've decided to buy. Okay, I wonder what happened next. Well, what they found was such and such and such and such. So how that would work is, thank you very much for telling me about your objection to the such and such. Other people have felt exactly the same way as you. And what I want you to know is, after they've experienced using the product, they've actually become raving fans for these reasons. So something like that. But if you think about that process, it's all about getting them to feel better about using your product or service. And how many people have heard someone say, a little someone, I'm bored. Yeah, I'm hungry. Yeah. What do they mean? They don't always mean that, do they? Sometimes they mean, I want to cuddle. Sometimes they mean, I'm sick of you working on your computer while I'm watching TV. Yeah, that TV nanny. So, and as we grow up, big people are no different to little people. They don't mean what they say. Sometimes people come out with objections that they think are the most palatable. It's too expensive. Number one objection is price. And 99.9% of the time, that's a known statistic, it's not price, it's something else. When I'm working with customers and they say, oh, everyone says it's too expensive, my response to them is, you haven't built up the value. They don't understand what they're getting. Or the value isn't high enough, is another way of looking at that. Okay, so we've got our clients, we've listened to them, we understand what they need, we've got over some hurdles of objections, and there'll be more to come. And now we've got to find fit. So finding fit means telling them about what you do. But it doesn't mean that you start a monologue or a laundry list of all the things you do, because we've just been listening and engaging with these clients. We don't suddenly start on this massive list of things that we do. So I've got a little tip here about how to do that, or how to not do that. When you have a meeting or a conversation or an email or a letter, you can use this you, me, and the next step. The you component is getting them to talk about themselves, or if it's in a letter or an email, you're talking about them. So if I was to send you all an email, it would say something like, I know that AusMumpreneurs are vital to the Australian economy. I know that they're often working around the clock and odd hours, whatever I know about your industry. So that's the you component. So I build understanding and knowledge in the first part. The me component isn't then me just talking about me, it's me relating how what I do relates to you. So I'm a mother myself. I run 2 businesses and I support my husband's business as well. We run them all from home. So I get it. And what I've learned through that process is, etc., etc. So what you're trying to do is relate what you know to your audience rather than just talking about you. So just use a couple of little things. So that should only be 10% of a meeting or an email or a letter. The next step, there's a saying that the fortune's in the follow-up. The next step is vital. So I am going to. So at the end of the meeting, always summarise and say, okay, from our meeting today, you said that you would get me this. I'm going to send you a proposal, whatever the next step is. And please make sure you put a date on it and a time. Do you know why? Because one of the biggest things in building trust is reliability. And if you don't say, I'm going to get back to you Thursday next week, the person that you're talking to sets a date and a time in their head. Could be tomorrow, could be next week, could be the end of the month. They do that. They know what's reasonable in their mind. And then if you don't deliver on that timetable that's in their head, which you don't know about, so it almost makes it impossible to deliver on, then they will think you're unreliable. So be explicit. And if they need to get you something in order to do that, be explicit about that too. When are you going to be able to get that to me? Make sure you ask those questions. It's not being rude, it's being businesslike. I was talking to someone the other day and they said, well, how many times do you follow up with people? Talking about the next step. Personally, 7 or 8 times. I'll call someone 7 or 8 times before I give up. She said, oh, we could never do that. I said, why? She said, no, 2. I said, what if they're on holidays? Do you leave a message? So what I do, 7 or 8 times, yes, I'll leave a voicemail, and then I'll follow it up with an email. And this email, I'll get one of 2 responses. I'll either get nothing or I'll get, oh, I'm so sorry. So what I say is, look, I've tried you a few times. Obviously you're busy, or whatever I'm trying to talk to you about isn't as important as it was. So I just, wanted to reach out. I'm going to be in the city on Monday or whatever. So you'll get one of 2 responses. The people who are actually legitimately still interested will come back to you. I'm so sorry, I have been busy, I've been run over by a bus, whatever. So just one more thing with the follow-up. I don't just do the next step, I do the one after that. So if I was to send you a proposal, how I would end that meeting is, thank you so much for today. What I'll do is I'll have a proposal to you by Wednesday next week, and I'll give you a call on Friday. Is that okay? And I don't mean is that okay as in permission, it's more is that okay, is that a good day for you? And they'll say, you know what, I'm going away for the weekend, maybe make it Tuesday the following week, or I'm in a board meeting, or whatever it happens to be that's going on in their life, or I'm away for 2 weeks. So suddenly, just by asking that question, you're now not going to follow up on that proposal that you sent and assume that they don't want to talk to you because they're not there, because they actually are on holidays for 2 weeks. So I just want you to be open and honest and ask those questions so that your clients can give you a good time frame and a time frame when they're actually going to be available. Okay, so I said that I was going to share with you my new ABC of sales. So it's not always be closing. My ABC of sales is always be creating value. Oh, thanks. It's lovely, but it's also, the first piece of value has to be to you. I know so many women, me included, who will do things for free, they'll do things, etc., etc. The first piece of value must come to you. You have put your heart and soul into that product or service or business, and you are worth it. So that first piece of value comes to you. The second piece of value goes to your client, and you give that to them with love. And then you don't want to have fantastic clients and feel great and be being paid for what you're worth, and then everyone around you thinks you're an utter bitch. So the third piece of value goes to the people that you work with or who support you in your business. So be that, bankers or the mailman or someone who works for you. And lastly, we want to add value to the community. We want to give value. We don't just want to take it all for ourselves or give it all to our clients. It's about balance. So if you can go through your checklist of your business in your mind and say, do I give myself enough value? Do I give my clients value? Do I give the people around me value? And do I give the community at large value? And if you can say yes to all of those, then you are a superstar. And they are the great ingredients to go and talk to your clients about. That's what selling is, telling them your story, talking about your value. And that doesn't come overnight. You won't suddenly wake up in the morning and be able to say that beautifully and sound like it's been beautifully rehearsed. I love Einstein, it's a bit of a dude. If you can't explain it simply, you just don't understand it well enough. So if you can't explain it simply, then go out and understand it. Understand it in your client's mind. It's not about you, but it's about you engaging with your customers and understanding what's going on. I'm just going to skip that one. Okay, because I think I'm running out of time on that. Yep. So I've got a free gift for everybody who would like it. I've got an ebook, which is free, because I said it was a free gift. 11 Secrets of Sales Champions. So if you go to my website, which is kisstosell.com.au, and it's just a /AusMum, and you'll be able to download that ebook from there.